Hey guys, so this is a bit later than I had planned on releasing this stuff. I got a little busy today, but I wanted to make sure that this got out at least today. There's quite a bit in this video explaining exactly what I'm putting out today because it's sort of a mix of a bunch of stuff. It's a pretty big release today, so I've been working on it for a couple weeks now, and there's bound to be something for everybody in here. There's a couple requests from people in here. There's some stuff that I was already working on. There's things that I came up with today, last minute stuff, but yeah, I'm gonna dive into this and we'll see what we got here. So first off, from now on, whenever I release anything, just so there's absolutely no confusion as to what's new, there's going to be a change log. And so whenever I do a release, it's in the description section under the video, it's going to have the links, the normal links for the Rocket Launcher media folder. It's going to have another link for miscellaneous. And it's also going to have a third link now to the change log. And the change log will be updated every time there's a release, just the same time as the links. So the changelog right here, the one that's coming out with the new stuff, is this one right here, and I'm going to go through this one with you guys just so you know how this is going to work. But I will not go through future changelogs. I will just include the link for people to grab from here on out. So in this release, it says added music Sega Genesis Part 2 zip. So that's what the file name is. And it's in 16 parts. So it's telling you exactly how many different parts it is. So we're going to go to that right here. I have not transferred this stuff to the folder as of right now making this video. But by the time the video's out, it should be in the folders where it belongs. So you could see here, Music, Sega Genesis, Part 2, zip. And there's 16 parts. So that's what this is referring to. And it says it's added to Rocket Launcher Media, Sega Genesis. So when you go to the Rocket Launcher Media link, and you go to Sega Genesis, it'll be in this folder. So that's how you're going to find it. Now, the second part, it also tells you exactly what's in the file. There's 492 new Sega Genesis soundtracks in there. So adding to the 100 I believe I had, there's almost 600. I couldn't find over 100 soundtracks to do with the Genesis. The Genesis was a little bit harder to find them for than the SNES was. But don't worry, it's just a few regular titles and mostly sports games that didn't have their soundtracks. So, and there's always the default music to fall back on. So the next one is added 4.3 wheel set, fade art. So that was added to miscellaneous wheels. So we're going to go up to miscellaneous here. Well, it's not going to be in the folder, but miscellaneous, and there's going to be a folder called wheels here. Matter of fact, so that I don't forget it, let's put one there now. So it's going to be in this folder, miscellaneous wheels. Right now, it's in the new media folder right here. Wheel set 4.3 fade art. Let me make sure you can see that. I might want to move it over a little bit. Wheel set 4.3 fade art, and then there's also the next one, which is 16:9 wheel set. So if you're using a 1080p screen, you're going to want to get the 16:9, and they've been sort of squished a bit to the proper dimensions to where when it's on a 16:9, it will display properly. Now, if you're wondering what the 16 or what the wheel set is, I can show you. I have this. It's a bit of a delay, but I have my arcade up above in this window here, so you can see the wheels on there. What I did was, it was a request from somebody. Actually, M Justin 9. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong. I see your name all the time. I don't know why it's slipping my mind. But he asked if I could provide the art from the fades as wheels. And so I went ahead and did it. He asked a long time ago, and I just now did it. But there they are. I mean, that's going to be the wheel set. So I think they look pretty good as wheels. I've been using them since I did it a couple days ago. So I figured... Anyways, so I figured why not make them, put them in there so anyone can get them. So those are there. And then the next one is added fades to miscellaneous fades dark front ends for the following front ends. So you're going to go to miscellaneous fades dark front ends. And I made fades for the missing front ends that Rocket Launcher supports, but I did not have in there. So GameEX and Mala. The next one is added fades to miscellaneous fades dark for the following systems. This was a request for an arcade one, and I decided to make an arcade classics one as well. I could show you what they look like. Actually, I have my Rocket Launcher folder open here. So you have I forget how to spell all of a sudden. You have the arcade one here. So there's just for your basic run-of-the-mill arcade, because I believe he mentioned Launchbox calls it arcade, I think, but I don't use Launchbox yet, so I wasn't sure. But that's for basic arcade. And then if you have arcade classics set up, it's the same fate, just it says arcade classics instead. So those are made. I could show you the two front end ones as well for those interested. So we got Mala right here. There's Mala. And then we have GameEX right above it. There's GameEX. So those are those are finished. Also, this next one's big. I'm gonna wait on this for a second. I'll tell you what that is in a minute. So added updated extra layer 1 console to miscellaneous fades containing cleaned, reworked versions of the following fades. So you look at this list right here of all of these systems. And what I did was, if you're a Patreon, you already know because I provided this to the patrons a few days ago. But what it is I looked over all 200 some odd fades that I've made and really scrutinized the artwork that I did for the layer ones, the extra layer ones. And I wasn't happy with these in particular. There was either bad cut jobs or artwork displaced or something. They just did not follow the standards that I've been following lately. So, and as I've done them, I've progressed myself in how I do them, and I've gotten better as time has gone by. And so I decided to go back to these and sort of straighten them out a bit and fix the artwork. So they're nice and cleaned up now on the layer ones. I plan to hit the layer 4s, the animated images, because there's some that are not cleaned up or cut properly. So I plan to go back on the layer 4s in a bit and straighten that out, because I want all of my fades to look good. You know, why wouldn't I? Of course. So you can grab that, and they should be set up already. All you have to do is just drag and drop them and overwrite the files that are already there in your fade folder. And that will be... That's the name of it right there. It has a date tagged on the end. I'll show you. New media... Updated extra layer 1 console 5/24/17. That's when I finished them. So you can grab that file right there. That'll be in miscellaneous fades, and it'll be in this folder right there. So the next thing is I added fade pause game logos. This is something new that I'm adding in, really. I did have them in there for the Virtual Boy before under the Rocket Launcher Media folder. So those are there. I just changed the name to something more sensible because it said logos or something into the Virtual Boy, and I had a couple people ask me, what is that? So I'm going to tell you exactly what those are. They're essentially wheels, okay? But I've provided you with my wheels that I use for Rocket Launcher, strictly for Rocket Launcher, for all these systems on the list. And they are for the logos folder. So if you go to the logos folder in your Rocket Launcher media folder, you'll see, like, let's go to Atari 2600. You'll see the folder, and you should have logos in here. You don't have to. I believe you can go through your front end's wheels, but I suggest you don't. And I'm going to tell you why not to do that in a second. I've already made a post on the Rocket Launcher forums answering somebody's question about them. What happens is when you have your wheels, they tend to be different sizes. Some are 500 by 200. Some are 300 by even 400 because they're such awkward shapes. And Rocket Launcher gives you multiple options for displaying those logos when you load up a game. Let me load up a game here. And I can tell you exactly what I'm talking about. I'll go with NES because I'm going to have to go there in a minute anyways. So let's load up 10-Yard Fight. Or let's load up 3D World Runner. Okay? So if you watch on the lower right of my fade screen, you'll see that I have my logo displayed on there. And you could see that picture there. Now, what happens is sometimes those are misshapen because of the ways that Rocket Launcher lets you do it. You can either, number one, go with the original size, the way the wheel is meant to be, and nothing else, and just give it coordinates where you want to place it. But the problem with that is there are some wheels that don't conform to certain dimensions, so they'll either go off the screen, or they'll look smaller, or they'll go off the screen to the right or to the bottom. Depending on where you put it, it could go off the screen or look really big or really out of place. Or the other way that Rocket Launcher lets you do it is you can actually set limits. So say your wheel will not be any wider than 300 or any taller than 200, okay? But the problem you get with that is it starts to squish some. So if your artwork is 200 top to bottom, that's fine. It's staying within the confinements of the limit. But if your artwork is 500 wide, it's going to squish it down to fit that width. And it really looks contorted. It looks really bad. So what I've done was set my limits for, let's get I believe it's 400 by 175. Yeah, to 400 by 175 under Rocket Launcher for displaying my and this isn't for everybody because some people will display it with the text, and that's fine, but I display the logos. And so in order to straighten them out, I set my Rocket Launcher to limit the logos at a 400 by 175 dimension. And then I ran my logos through Auto Custom with a PNG blank image that was 400 by 175. And I centered the wheels onto that image. You're not going to be able to see it from here. But so what it did then was it took these wheels, and no matter what size they were, it sized them properly to fit within that 400 by 175 border without stretching them, without squishing them, without anything, any bad stuff happening to the labels. They just fit, okay? So now when they're displayed properly. And that's what I'm supplying you guys. Now, they're not normal wheels. If anybody were to download these and try to put them in Hyperspin or Launchbox or whatever, good luck, because they're actually in folders, the name of the game, but when you go in the folder, it's called logo. So you would have to literally sit there and rename every single picture to the name of the game to get them to work, which is senseless because you could just download them off the Hyperspin website anyways for free. So I figured it wasn't a big deal for me to hand these out because really I altered them, I renamed them. It's pretty much just for this use. And like I said, I don't suggest you use the Hyperspin wheels or even the Launchbox wheels unless you have custom wheels. If you have custom wheels that fit into a frame already, then you really don't have anything to worry about. You can just set your rocket launcher for the size of that frame, and as long as you follow those dimensions across all your systems, then you're in good shape. So these are simply for people who like the look of the plain wheels, no custom borders or anything like that in their front end, but they want to use the same images for Rocket Launcher. So you put these into your logos folder under your Rocket Launcher media in the appropriate system. So all those are going to be in the folder as well. So these are the fade, pause, game logos. And they're going to be in the appropriate system folder. So the AAE one will be in the AA system. So you see here, I put added fade, pause, game logos with system name. So it all depends on the system that you're looking for. So you just place the system name there. That's there. To Rocket Launcher Media system name. So you put that same system name. So if you want fade, pause, game logos, Atari 2600, you're going to look in Rocket Launcher Media Atari 2600. Okay? Really simple. So that's that. Now, and by the way, it's like something like 51,000 wheels. Okay? So 51,000 logos, technically. So there's plenty. I believe I got full sets for everything. I don't remember. I think GameCube and stuff, there's a couple that don't have full sets, but alright, so back to this right here. Added Legend of Zelda Collection, Fade, List, and Menu logos to miscellaneous game series media. What does that mean? That's a new thing I'm doing. So let's go to Fade, and we will go to Nintendo Entertainment System, and we will go to Legend of Zelda, because I will start working on collection fades, so game series fades. Right now I have a few lined up. I believe I've chosen 4 different franchises: Legend of Zelda, Mario, Street Fighter, and Final Fantasy. So I'm going to get those done, and what you do is you basically just put these into your game folders. So you can go through and put the Legend of Zelda one into each Zelda game, and it'll use that as a fade instead. It does not come with layer 1s because most of the Zelda games that I've put out media for already have layer 1s, so it's really not necessary. But this is what it looks like. So whenever you load up a Zelda game, this particular fade, it's a special fade for Zelda games, will come up. And it has its own layer 4. It has its own now loading. I'm going to load one right now. So that you can see what it looks like. So if you watch the little screen up above, you'll see it come up. Right there. That's the Zelda fade. So you can put that in all of the Zelda game folders for Super Nintendo, Game Boy, Genesis, or not Genesis. Yeah, okay, Genesis came out with a game. You know what I'm saying, though. You can put it in all the Zelda games, which I already have for my own personal collection, and it'll load up. Now, let's go here for a second. Where am I at? Where am I at? No, game series media. Okay, so what the list is a list that I will put out. Whenever I put out a game series, I'll release a list with it just to make it easier to know which games it should go in. So it's a list of every Zelda game for the consoles. Alright, so it has all of them. All of them. If I missed any, I apologize for any Zelda fans, but I don't think there's any missing. So these are the folders that you're going to look for to place that fade in if you need help. If you're a Zelda buff, then you already know what games belong to it, but that's just to help people out in case they're not sure. And then the last part is the menu logos. So we're going to go to Pause. Menu logos. I'm gonna go to pause on the arcade as well. While that loads, I will find them here. So Legend of Zelda. I've made special menu logos for the Zelda games as well, just to kind of set it apart from the rest of them. So it has the Zelda text for each selection in the menu. So you get the point. And that's the artwork selected, and then when it's not selected, it's gold and gray. So that covers the Zelda one, and I planned on doing that for, like I said, Street Fighter, Final Fantasy, and Mario next. And there will be more franchises covered in the future, and also singular games that I really like myself will get covered as well. And those are going to be in their own folder, and it's going to be miscellaneous game series media. Even though they have fades and menu logos and such, I felt that they deserve their own folder. So it's game series media is going to be in the miscellaneous folder, and that's where you will find the series. They'll each be in their own individual folders. So you're going to see The Legend of Zelda there, a folder for it. And then inside that folder, it will contain the zips, because I don't know if in the future I'm going to want to change anything with it or add something to it. I may find art books or something I'd like to put for just the Zelda games, things like that. So I do have the Hyrule Historia. Once I get another printer, when I get some cash together to pick up another printer, I was going to scan that and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I believe that covers everything. So, like I said, from now on, there will be a changelog with every release. And, let's see something here. I just wanted to say something about Patreon really quick here. And, apologize. Trying to find something in particular. Okay, so I started a Patreon a few weeks back and immediately got some patrons, and I really appreciate the fact that people jumped at the opportunity to help me out with funding for what I'm doing here. And specifically, there's Kmoney, JaysArcade, AngeloBodetti, and there's CriticalCid. So those four guys have already become premium patrons to me. And between the four of them, and there is one other between just the ones I have now, they've already covered the download site, the upload site, on a monthly basis. As long as they're patrons, then the uploads are covered, the cost of Mega. So I just want to express my appreciation to you guys and let you know that everybody thanks you, because you're doing that, and you're helping to keep this stuff up there, and helping so I don't have to worry about whether it's going to go down this month or not. So thank you. But other than that, if you're not a patron, please consider it. Feel free to check out the Patreon link down in the comments, and it's kind of a strange thing to bring up, because every time I bring it up I lose like 8 or 9 subscribers. But what can you do? I mean, there are costs for everything, and unfortunately I'm treating this as a job at the moment, and there's, like I said, there's costs, and I can't cover them myself all the time. So check out Patreon. I think that I've provided some good rewards for those that become a patron, and I plan to release the whip folder on the 1st for any patrons that are watching this right now. That whip folder link will be up on the 1st. You're looking at the first whip folder right now, But I want to stick to the fact that the whip folder only comes out on the first of the month. So this is basically the folder right here. This is what you get, and see this new media folder. As I do the work, you would be able to access this folder and get stuff before I even release it. So this will be empty, maybe. I'll probably have stuff in there by the time the first hits, because I have to work on DOS now. I've caught up on everything that I've had to do, and now I can start working on DOS. Sans people having more requests, but I'm trying to catch up with those and get those all done, and cut off requests for a bit so that I can do DOS. Now, one thing I'd like to do is some type of poll or a questionnaire or something. I'm not really sure how to do it because not everyone comments on my YouTube videos. But I'd really like some input on what people want to see the most done next. I'm doing DOS next. That's already, I have the folder ready to go. I'm already ready to start getting the media. So that's for sure. But after DOS, I'm really curious what people want, like what you guys are looking for. Please don't say some obscure system, because those are hell. But I mean, if you guys want Game Boy, I'll do Game Boy. I have Game Boy on here. If you guys want Nintendo DS, I'll do that. If you guys want the Sega Master System or the Famicom or things like that, just let me know what you're looking to complete on your systems, what you think is a good idea for me to do next, and if I get enough votes for one in particular, I'll dive right into that as soon as DOS is finished. And I believe that's about it, guys. So if you have any questions about what's new, remember, always look for the purple dots. But to save some time from having to search through everything for purple dots, I have a changelog now. So download the changelog from the comments, or from the description, sorry. And the links will be changed when this video comes out. So once again, I apologize if you were already downloading something and it cut you off when I changed the link. But like I said, there's people who take my stuff and act like it's theirs, so this has to be done this way. There's absolutely no way around it. One big thing I'd like to announce before I go is that on the first of the month, when my data cap renews through Comcast, I will be uploading everything to the Emu Movies FTP. So no longer will those people who have problems with Mega have to deal with Mega. I will still keep my stuff on Mega for those that prefer it, or for those that don't have Emu Movies accounts. But at the same time, for those that do have Emu Movies accounts, I really don't want to subject you to Mega if you don't have to use it. So I've talked to Circo through the forums, and he's already said, go ahead, put it up. He's excited about it because it's the amount of stuff that I have, and I will have it moved over to the official folders once he checks everything out, and it'll be good to go on the FTP. That's something I should have handled a long time ago, but it's getting done now on the 1st once my data cap resets. So thank God. Alright, so I'm going to end it here, and I hope you guys enjoy the new stuff that I put out, and I will catch you next time after I'm finished with DOS, if I don't release other random videos between then. But face to face, I'll catch you when I release DOS. Alright, later guys.